Okay, meeting will come to order. This is December 10th, 2024 meeting of the Coastal Development Review Board. The first item on our agenda, we've got a pretty full slate tonight, so we're gonna try to be efficient. Is the appeal by Ash Smith of the zoning administrator's no action decision issued on June 18th, 2024 regarding the Lathrop Mill, which is parcel number 225040. Subject to Bristol Development Review
Excuse me,
Regulations.
I would like to add an item to the agenda, so I don't want to skip over that item 2 in the agenda.
Well, we'll do it at the end.
No, it's fine to do it at the end, but I would like to go ahead and add to the agenda.
What?
Just a discussion about a permit that we've issued in the past with clarification.
I don't know that that's appropriate.
It's a public permit.
Yeah, but we don't have jurisdiction to be advising about permits that are already issued.
I'm looking for clarification from board members about their understanding about that permit.
We can talk after the meeting.
I'd like it on the public record.
We'll see, because it's not live. There's not a live controversy.
Well, there's a notice of violation.
Then we definitely can't have it because the notice of violation isn't here yet.
Yeah, but it's not to discuss that specifically, it's to, I would like to get the consensus of the board for their understanding about this permit and see if it matches my own. This is a good point to do it, we're all together,
We're
we
not,
have a quorum.
John,
It's a
we're gonna
public-
do these three first.
Sir,
We're gonna do these.
so
three
I
first.
just don't want to miss my opportunity to
Yeah.
add something to the agenda.
We could have brought that up.
So I would like to move that we add a discussion of that, of a permit to the end of
You
our
could have
agenda.
brought that up while we were sitting here for 10 minutes.
Well, the meeting wasn't convened, so
You could have let me know that you wanted to do
I'm
it.
sorry, but
We've got a full-
that's immaterial. I made the motion.
All right,
So I'd like a second if you would, or whatever,
I'm not seconding it.
that's fine, Ted. Anybody else out there second to add a quick discussion about past permit?
No. All right, we're going with appeal by Ash Smith. Zoning administrator, no action decision raised, issued June 18, 2024 regarding the Lathrop Mill. So Ashley, you're Ashley, you wanna come up or you wanna sit there? Or-
I can sit there.
Sure,
Because it's also my mom.
okay, hi.
So,
And your name,
Um,
nice to meet you. So you've got, has everybody signed in?
we are.
Okay, good. So you're the appellant,
Yes.
so you go first, so we've got your
Mhm.
letters, but if you could
Yeah.
explain your position to the
Yeah.
board,
Yes. Well,
Sign it.
swear me.
okay, so it's likely to be.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
Head's my reminder, I'm swearing. You solemnly swear that the evidence you shall give before this development review board should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I think it's gonna probably be an extended discussion, because of the constraints of time. Because I do have 3 pages of material, but I will expedite it. And if I'm to go first, I will just say that we have always been in support of the Lathrop's Mill to be a viable operation, but we also, support the viability of residences, my long-term childcare, and also, all the allowed uses, permitted and conditional. And so our goal of this meeting, our goals, is to understand the needs of the Lathrop's operation and the needs of the surrounding residents and businesses. To initiate measures that mitigate noise and fumes while allowing Lathrop's Mill to thrive. And I could include to implement these measures over time to accommodate for the immediate constraints and to acquire funding. Subsidize as modifications required. And I guess we have a list of things that we have identified as needs. And we'd like to start with the Lathrop's needs. You don't need to speak, but the question is why do you have to load trucks at night? If that is something, that's a fair question. Like, can you do it in the day?
Not speaking right now.
Mr. Lathrop, get a chance, you can.
Okay,
pose
well,
your
that's a
question,
question I have, sure.
And then,
And then,
hold
like,
on, let me just explain then, Mr. Lathrop is gonna get a chance, well, next we'll hear from the zoning administrator to explain the decision, even though it was.
Yeah.
AZ's predecessor, and then Mr. Lathrop will have his opportunity as well.
Yeah. And so, and then we're also wondering if there are ways that can further mitigate the noise and fumes, and what would be the expenses to make those accommodations. And for, as far as our residents in childcare, home childcare. So of concern is the air pollution from the mill, including noise and fumes. Has a significant effect on our health and quality of life as residents. My mom runs a state licensed home childcare. It shares the property line of the mill where children need to are required naps. And the fumes can be bad at times from the mill, which affect my mom's health particularly because she's there a lot. And so our needs are for measures to be made to mitigate the nighttime noise, the daytime noise of the chipper, and the fumes, which we believe are particularly from one old piece of equipment. And then I have a bunch of evidence. I have a whole page of evidence here that supports our position. But we also want to accommodate for we want to make this
Is
work
that
for everyone.
something?
Yeah, it's right
Is that
here.
something,
And I
is it,
now,
is it
I have
previously
fault
submitted or is it?
sorry, I
Let me ask you a question.
No, did you already submit with your letter or is this new?
this is me.
Okay.
But I
Okay, so we've
emailed
got-
it, I emailed it late and
That's okay.
and yeah, exactly. So it goes through a variety of reasons. It is a public hearing, but if you guys would like to look at them separately and take that into account, otherwise I could go over them all, but they're somewhat lengthy.
Yeah, well, if you could summarize maybe.
Well, and I mean,
Is this it?
well, I can just kind of go well first. So, yeah, I have them here, I have many copies if anybody wants them. But, and they're up there somewhere, but, so the first is. It's well documented in zoning and medical literature that noise pollution can have adverse effects on the health of residences. Every piece of zoning legislation has air pollution, including noise, at the top of the list. I've talked with the surrounding neighbors in the past, and the majority of them had at least one household member who told me that they were adversely affected by the mill. We do have video recordings of the mill's activity if needed. Children and adults alike to live in the South Street neighborhood, and people need to be provided a solid 9 hours each night of sleep. This is the norm of residential and mixed zones. I talked with many zoning administrators throughout Vermont, which are mill communities, and none of them had such nighttime activity taking place. There was unanimous objection to the idea. I talked with another local mill and they never did night deliveries. I believe the Lathrop's mill is the largest in the state, chip mill that is. There was legislation passed a couple years ago which gave forestry manufacturers more rights to accommodate for seasonal activities, including night deliveries. However, there's no mention of loading and unloading trucks being permissible. That legislation does include that if night deliveries are to occur outside of normal hours of operation, that disruptive activity should be mitigated. The mill has existed for around 80 years at the Bristol location and has always, to our knowledge, existed in harmony with the neighborhood. Our family lived on South Street near the mill from 1993 to 2000, which was before the mill changed from a lumber mill to a chip mill in 2003. My mom then purchased her home at 28 South Street in 2011, which is when I began living there. I read that it wasn't until 2014 that Jason and Justin Lathrop took over the operation. It wasn't until a few years later that they purchased a larger chipper that generates a much higher volume of noise. My mom was given verbal permission upon the purchasing the property to have outdoor domesticated animals. However, she had to find new homes for them because the noise level at the mill. Every time we complain, And since sending the hearing letter, the Lathrop's operation gets noisier, not quieter. The nighttime noise, and we're almost done, seem to have gotten noisier over time, but I also may have just become more aware of it too. Sometimes I am not sure why I wake up at night until I look outside and discover the mill is operating. And then the Lathrops might not realize the effects their operation has on the neighborhood residents because we live on the premises. I have attempted over the years to relocate, which is demonstrated by when we have posts looking for housing due to nighttime noise generated by the mill. I hear the nighttime noise from the mill as clearly from the house as I do my cabin, both with my windows closed. I even have insulation board against my windows to drown the noise. I provide earplugs, fans, but the volume of white noise I have to create inside in order to drown out the noise from the mill is intolerable, such as an industrial fan inside. And lastly, my cabin is insulated with double pane windows. However, it should certainly be more noise proof as could my mom's house, but I consider them average normal dwellings, and no downgrades were made since my mom bought the house. And then the next thing on the list is just propositions I put forth that I feel, that we feel are a way to go about, further discussion. And this is just propositions to conduct a subjective and objective emission study of the noise in the neighborhood, determine ways in which the Lathrop's current operation can have the flexibility while accommodating the needs of residents and other businesses, and that can include sound reducing measures, including mufflers and enclosures, and also it could include equipment modifications and upgrades to minimize air toxicity. And then on issuing an ordinance would be the most rigorous approach, and that would be a nighttime, can be in conjunction for nighttime noise levels and activities, hours of operation. We're suggesting not 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. or 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. 5 days a week for their working operations, and then maybe 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on weekends and holidays, rather than what is currently taking place is working after these hours and into the early mornings, which wake us up. So, and then deliveries at night would be fine, like the legislature in Vermont says, but if the noise was mitigated. And then, daytime noise levels also are an issue, and we have 2 more things, and that's it. Daytime noise levels, emissions to not exceed a certain level could be a solution, and then for fumes, same thing, along with potential inspections of equipment. And then I think we could have one thing and say, oh yeah, essentially, as long as the neighborhood is accommodated, we want the mill to take advantage of all the opportunities otherwise provided to maintain and grow their business.
You didn't think there anything?
We worked on this together.
No, I understand, but if you want to say something, you're welcome to.
Just
Not required to.
I would just like to say that, because I've lived in the neighborhood for like the 2 of them, like 24 years. I have, my house flooded out. My house was under my name. But anyway, there has been a change, and it has been noisier, and it's not always noisy. And I would like to work on a plan so that everybody's satisfied.
We're not expecting a solution overnight about this.
No, what? I hear all your concerns, and I sure get it. If it were me, I wouldn't be
You
happy.
don't want to live down there, right?
I wouldn't be, really, I wouldn't want to be, I get the needs of the business, but I wouldn't want to be where you are. But this board is sitting in a limited jurisdiction of the appeal. This is an appeal of whether or not there's a zoning violation. And the zoning administrator said there's not because it's a pre-existing use.
Yeah, that's additional information, yeah.
Well, it's the central information.
Right, no, that's additional information that we would have to go into. Like.
Well, that's
if
why
it's
we're
a
here, so if you.
violation. Yeah,
Okay, so go there, because, we'd like an ordinance, this board doesn't have ordinance passing power. The select board.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Right, ordinances, so a
Yeah.
lot of the solutions you're talking about are not something we
Yeah.
can give you.
That's fine, right, but so we can start with what the rules and regulations are.
Well, that's why we're here, so if you have a reason, I wanna hear your reasons why why the zoning administrator is wrong in your view.
Well, I didn't see anything in either the Vermont legislature or the personal zoning a document or the town plans that enables nighttime deliveries, for example, in the mixed zone that we have. And I would like to see documentation of that. I mean, I have all of what's the most pertinent stuff for this, here in front of me. And I mean, I could go through it, but I mean, it would just be reiterating what you guys already know. Or should already know.
Just read.
I mean, I don't know.
Brenda has something to say.
It's kind of getting late.
Excuse me, hold on,
Brenda has something to say.
and just what?
Has something to say.
Brenda, go ahead, Brenda. Hold on a second.
Oh, at some point, anyhow, when I look at the regs and you explain to me why this is not applicable, under the introduction to section 751 noise, it says no noise which is excessive at the property line represents a significant increase in noise levels in the vicinity of the development and is incompatible with the reasonable use of the surrounding area shall be permitted. Then for the HDR and the VR districts, it lists particular specific rules, but it does seem to make a general sort of statement. Also in section 750, it also makes a similar sort of thing, to create, so adversely to affect the reasonable use of the surrounding properties.
Well, why don't we, Brenda, why don't we wait for Mr. Smith to finish, and then you can hear from Ash about the research into the decisions about why it's a grandfather.
Okay, but what does that mean then forever and ever? If
Well,
it's grandfathered,
Well,
Heard
that
you.
one can make whatever noise one wants for the older. I mean, I really wasn't happy when a nearby commercial establishment
Yeah, I know.
plowed their snow between 3:30 in the morning and 4. Does that mean I can't say anything?
Of course not, but we're jumping the gun here. With a substantive discussion, we haven't even heard from the town.
Okay, and one more thing. If some people I can hear well from where they're sitting, but it might be a help if you had people come up to the table so their voice could be picked up by the microphone.
Okay, could you hear Mr. Smith?
I could hear Mr. Smith. The woman after that, I couldn't tell what she was saying.
You
Yeah, and I can speak even louder.
want- Or you can
I-
sit here.
Can everybody see me and hear me from here?
I can hear you, yes.
Then I have no reason to move.
No, but it's a general sort of thing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Brenda.
I think I just want to echo what Brenda's saying. My question is whether something that's, predates the zoning, any kind of use, is essentially able to do anything. If there's nothing in the town's regs at the moment that allows that to
Well,
be
just because,
addressed.
just because something's not in the zoning regulations doesn't mean a town is powerless to address.
Yes, so that's part of my question, exactly, like, I don't know what the tools. That may be on the books as far as addressing an unusual, I think this is an unusual circumstance, it's not every business. First of all, it's around since before the regs, so there's that. There's not, it's not like there's 50 of these businesses all doing the same thing, so it's a little bit unusual, and I'm just wondering. If there isn't some way for the town to be a positive force in working out with these property owners. And that may be outside of our purview, I understand that, but I'm just
Yeah,
asking
no,
the question, if
Select
there's a way.
boards- Select boards have regulatory authority with respect to pass ordinances, which is different than what we have. Because a select board passes, writes and passes an ordinance, we don't have bylaws are, as you know, by the planning commission and then approved by the select board, so the select board has a lot of different regulatory. A lot of different statutory authorizations for writing regulations. Public nuisance is one, noise is frequently done under the public nuisance.
Right.
Statute, but I think there's one specifically on
Oh.
noise, hold on.
And Brenda, the
And
reg,
I don't think we have it.
there's,
There's not-
well, the
no
question I
reg.
have, and Brenda, I don't have the regs in front of me, but I think you do, because you were reading from them. That part about noise where it's not supposed to be a nuisance, oh, nice cat, let the cat read the zoning regulations, that noise ordinance, is that only, or it's not an ordinance, the noise passage you read, does that only apply when somebody's seeking a permit, or is that just in place general?
Well, they're subject, they gotta be subject to the zoning authority.
So it's only when somebody goes through the process that paragraph or whatever it is
No,
comes into
you're
play.
No, if you have someone who's pre-existing and grandfathered. The regs don't apply.
But where
Because-
does that, where's that clause on grandfatherness in your right?
Well, it's generally understood, right? I
You
mean,
know, it's pre-existing, well, here. No, I'm going back to the order that,
Yeah, that's fine.
are you done?
Well, I think Brenda said something that we didn't.
Are you done?
But, I could just include that, it says, the only thing I found in the town zoning that I was able to find is a simple statement saying. The town recognizes that some industries such as lumber mills and manufacturers and, of forestry products. Although commonly regarded as heavy industry, can be situated and operated with no substantial offsite impact. And we agree with that. We think that they can operate and we want them to operate, but we would like there an understanding to take place around how it can be more feasible for us and the other neighbors, because not everybody's used to the tour, they're bothered by something.
Can I just say that for decades, for 2 decades anyway, everything was harmonious. It was after a loud machine that it has been an issue. Before that, it was.
And the night deliveries.
And then I do it as well. Yeah, the sleep disturbance.
And night deliveries would be fine, but loading the trucks of chips at night. Is kind of a lot for, it's like my question, really in a realistic way, would be to why do you need to do it at night? And if you do, the Vermont legislature permits that. To inform you all, I believe it's under a state legislation, but they say it has to be mitigated for the surrounding environment, including residences. So if you but I just don't, it's gonna take a lot to mitigate that. It's loud and you have neighbors around you. Right?
Anything else?
That's fine. I mean, I could go into the legislature if you guys wanted, but
We're-
essentially that covers.
That statute doesn't apply, isn't part of our, whatever statute you're referring to isn't part of our purview.
Okay, that's fine, right, so I guess we can just resume as to like what's grandfathered and what document.
Now, let's,
and what your
if you're,
Brenda has
if
to
you're
say.
done, then we'll hear from the town.
Okay.
Go ahead, AZ,
Do you need to swear me in?
oh, you didn't swear
Can I-
before, AZ, do you solemnly swear that the evidence you shall give before this development review board shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
Go ahead.
So the letter was originally sent by my predecessor. It was originally sent July 11th, 2022. and it was reissued June 18th, 2024. That reissuing reopened the appeal period
Tell me the reissue date.
June 18th, 2024.
Okay, sorry.
In that reopening of the, in the reissuing of the letter, the appeal window of the decision reopened. In Chris's letter, he stated that the Lathrop Mill is a pre-existing use. He references the village mix zone, which the mill is located in. Defining the zone as a district that shall promote opportunities for employment and housing within easy reach of the walkable core of the village. It promotes mixed-use development, such as residential, commercial, and light manufacturing. Chris also defined sawmill, which is listed as a conditional use in the village mixed zone. A sawmill is defined in the Bristol regulations as an operation, facility, equipment, or machine that has as its primary purpose the sawing, planing, refining, or processing of logs, trees, or rough timber into rough slabs, firewood, lumber, wood chips, wood pellets, flooring, paneling, or other similar value-added wood product manufacturing. Sawmills include storage of raw materials and finished products. In Chris's letter, he states that the mill has been operating since the 1940s. I did research to find that the mill moved to that location in 1947. The first records of Bristol zoning that I have found were from 1968. Therefore, the mill began its operation and its use of that area as a sawmill lumber use before zoning and became a pre-existing use. Bristol zoning does have a section on nonconformities, which would be used in a case for a use that is not conforming to the regulations. However, the mill is a conditional use in this district, and it is also pre-existing any zoning ordinances, therefore being grandfathered in. The section 411 covers non-conformities and has 5 sections that
Excuse me, sorry, go ahead.
5 sections that dictate what is considered a non-conformity. Most importantly, subsection 3 shall not be reestablished if such a use has discontinued for a period of 2 years or has been changed to or replaced by a conforming use without approval by the Development Review Board. From the research, the mill has been operating as a mill since the 1940s with continued use without discontinuance, and therefore is a pre-existing use.
It's also
Whoop,
therefore,
whoop,
yeah,
whoop, 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 whoop.
changed
Nate,
to a check.
stop. You don't get to speak out of turn when
Okay.
Izzy's speaking.
When the mill was changed in 2003, the use of chipping falls under the definition of sawmill and therefore is a use of lumber mill as well. All wrapped into one use, which is sawmill, which is an allowed use in the district.
As a conditional use.
As a conditional use. And that would be if the mill was to discontinue use and recontinue use, then they would have to follow the processes of a non-conforming. But since the use has continued,
What about the hours of operation?
because the mill became operational before zoning, it does not have to follow the hours of operation that would be implemented by a new application.
What about the change of?
Hey,
use
hey,
over
whoa,
time?
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Sorry.
You wanted to ask something, you raise your hand and I'll call on you at the appropriate time.
If there was a change in use from lumber to, let's say you started making coffins for 5 years.
Back to the future.
Yeah, started making coffins for 5 years and then went back to lumber for lumber, that would constitute a change of use. However, since the use has been for lumber sawmill since its operation.
And so they have a carte blanche to do whatever they wanna do and they can do noises they want,
No,
without anybody having anything to say about it.
not necessarily.
Okay, no, I'm just putting, yeah.
No,
Did you look at 352? That seems to me to be the one that actually is most specifically applicable.
yeah, so this also ties into section 411. So section 352 states that if a use which existed prior to the effective date of these regulations and which is listed as a conditional use in the district in which that use is located. One, is the proposed use to be changed to a different conditional use? No, it is continuing on as a sawmill. Two, the area of the parcel that the use occupies is proposed to be increased or decreased? No. And three, the footprint or volume of the structure within which the use is located is proposed to be altered? No, they have not made any proposals for these.
You got anything else? Or shall we-
The only thing I would say is, a large part of this is if there's an increase of production, which in my research,
Mm,
and that's in
I
section,
mean, I don't know, I don't see that in 352.
that's in 411. But that's non-conformities, which does not apply to this because this is a pre-existing conforming use
Well,
or existing conditional use that's.
yeah, I mean, this is a rather unique, 352 is a rather unique provision. I don't usually see that in zoning bylaws, but it's first time I've ever seen something like it, but it's the first time it's ever come up before the board. But it seems to be directly applicable. You done?
Yes.
Mr. Lathrop? You have the floor. You want to respond?
Do you want to swear in?
Oh,
Yeah.
we need
Oh,
it.
sir.
Oh,
You, so, sir, thank you.
Mhm.
The image should give you this development review board, shall be true, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Sure.
Thank you. Go ahead.
so we need a history lesson, I guess.
What,
You want
before,
me to sit up here?
sure, the floor is yours, you know, you've heard the concerns.
Yeah.
And this is your chance to, respond, and if the board has questions, there'll be time for that.
Okay. Everybody knows who I am. I'm Jason Lathrop. 6 generations. We've been sawing lumber here in the town of Bristol. We started up in the Bristol Notch. Moved the mill, when they run out of timber up there, whatever they did. Up to Waltham. And then my grandfather, my great grandfather. Purchased this piece of land down here from, I believe it was from the coffin factory.
Yeah.
So that's where the mill got moved in the early 1940s. From there. It steadily grew. They expanded. In the early 70s, my father, we built what we called a big mill. Saw more production, and then in the mid-90s, we built another mill, we expanded some more. And that's when my brother and I, and my father, we took it over from my grandfather. We had been sawing lumber, bringing logs in, selling lumber out. Back in the 60s, we were the first sawmill in the state of Vermont to put a chipper in the mill and to chip the slabs.
When was that roughly?
That was in the 60s.
That's when chipping started?
Yep. We were purchasing slabs from these other sawmills around the area. We would buy them in on weight, because we had a lift set up with scales in it. We buy them by weight and then sell the chips to International Paper. This was before me, but and then the smaller sawmills started going out of business, but it was being mills like Clifford Lumber up there. They don't have a chipper, so they would sell their slabs to us and we would chip them up. So we've been chipping,
Just to be clear, so slabs that first cut off a
Yeah,
log?
yeah.
This
To-
is
to
kind of
square,
hard,
yeah.
To square it up. Okay.
yeah, it was the same thing, and then if the log was no good, the whole log would go to the chipper, the same thing, to make chips out of it for the paper process. So anyways, as time went on, we were sawing lumber, doing all that, we had, 3 full-time truck drivers that were delivering the wood, lumber. And they would leave anytime, 7 days a week, to deliver the lumber to where I had to go. It could have been 1, 2 in the morning, they would get in their truck and leave and deliver lumber. The other thing that was happening was logs had to come in to keep us on that. So logs were able to come in 7 days a week, 365 days a year, whatever. We never had any restrictions on that. And then, the other thing that we had going on there too is, we dried our lumber. So we had dry kilns. We had 250,000 board feet capacity of drying. So what that entailed was dry kilns with fans running all the time. They run 24/7, 7 days a week. We had a big boiler, we used to burn our bark and to make steam to dry the lumber. But that was all noise that was going on 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Fast forward to 2001, we had a major fire. We lost our big mill. At that point, we had 85 employees working for us. So at that point, we had to lay off, over half of it. And our plan was, the mill, the little mill that we built, where we're housing our chips right now. We're gonna keep that running and try to.
So that pre-existed the fire and
Right.
didn't get burned?
No, but they did not get burned. So we tried to limp along and for another 5 years, about 2006, 2007, right in there. Is where we decided to, call it quits on sawing lumber. So we had an auction. Then sold the equipment there, but prior to that, we have been logging and chipping more out in the woods. We were bringing the chips back to the mill. To burn in our boiler, to make enough steam, so we could dry our lumber. We couldn't do it all with one mill, so. We had been chipping right along then. So once we stopped sawing lumber, the few years prior. to
And that's
that-
05, 06.
Yeah, so years prior to that, we had another outlet for our chips, which was to the schools. We would, Chip Tech up here in town, they got started right up here in town, I don't know if you guys ever remember it. But they made these little boilers. And they were burning sawmill chips, so they got put into a lot of municipal buildings and schools. So we were one of the first ones to supply chips to those, so we were making those and selling them to them right along, and then when we stopped sawing lumber is where we really ramped up chipping roundwood and making a screen chip to sell to the schools. So we had, I don't know, around 20 to 30 accounts at one point we were running. Most of that was in the winter time. But, I don't know, about 15 years ago, Middlebury College came on. So the first 5 years of Middlebury College, we were supplying them with chips. But they were going through a broker and a lot of those chips were going out of the woods. But, and so,
What do you mean?
we chip tops in the woods with a chipper.
I see.
And make chips, cause they told us that they could burn anything, hard softwood and everything, so. The first 5 years, that broker told us we could bring in whatever, well. The quality of the chip was not what they could burn in their system down there. So they were having a real hard time with that broker, and that broker was at the end of his contract, and Middlebury College went to the excavation guy that had been working for him for 20 odd years, which was Chris Acker. And they asked Chris Acker, is there anybody around here that can supply us with a better quality chip? And Acker already knew we were supplying schools with these cleaner chips. So that's when we started working with Acker. He got the contract and we provide
What,
him.
the kind to haul chips?
Yeah, he hauls the chips. And we provided them. And what we did was, you know, the building that housed that old sawmill that didn't burn is where we put our chips in. We have a storage there, five to 6 loads, so. Acker can come in and haul the chips to Middlebury College 7 days a week, 365 days a year, whenever they want. And the 11 years that we've been doing it, we have not let them run out of chips. So one of the things that you have to understand is when you run a boiler, a wood boiler, you cannot let them run out of chips, and the temperatures drop, and the up and down temperatures cause a lot of problems. So anyways, we're at the point where we're still doing the same thing. We are really downsized at that yard. We only have one guy that makes the chips in the yard and a part-time mechanic. The rest of the stuff, we run a logging company, so we're doing logging and chipping out in the woods on private land and government land and whatnot.
So do those chips come to,
So what we bring to the yard is firewood. And firewood logs.
Mhm.
They're round pieces 24 feet long. And we run them through the chipper. Put them through a screen. The screen shakes them out and puts the right size chips down, and we screen out the sawdust in the smaller barky chunks and sell that to farmers. But that provides a pretty good clean chip for them, and it's a mix of hardwood. It has to be all hardwood. So when we do a wood lot, there's all different kinds of hardwood that come in, and it makes them a good fuel because the BTUs are fairly consistent. Whereas in a sawmill chip, if you're sawing soft maple for weeks on end, the BTUs is totally different than something like red oak or hard maple. So anyways, that's one of the things I liked about it, and we kept a consistent chip. So, and as far as what I know, the reason why they're loading at night is their floor system down there cannot support.
you mean the college?
Yeah, the college can't support 3 loads of chips. They can only really support 1, so. And I mean, that everything that we provide them is that building and a loader. And he's loading under a building. I don't know why it's so loud at the property line. That the loader is really quiet. I just don't know. And we are from the property line to where we load, it's gotta be, oh Jesus, 500 to 800 feet. It's nowhere near the property. But
So it's that Chris Acker who's loading
yeah,
the truck?
it's our
Or
loader.
it's your loader guy?
Yeah, he has the truck and the trailer that delivers the chip.
And so your employee loads the trucks?
No, his employee loads that.
Oh, okay, because that's happening at night. Your guy who makes the chips, he works during the day.
Yeah,
So
we try to work, we start 6 to 5 days a week. Saturdays are kind of like, you know, whatever, half a day or whatever we feel like. But we normally don't make chips on Saturdays and Sundays. The only reason chips are made on Saturdays and Sundays, or if we have to do it on a holiday, is we gotta break down. Something has happened, or there's not enough chips in that building, something had happened. We do not like to run on Saturdays and Sundays, so I know because noise is a problem with neighbors.
So is the college the sole source of the
No.
customer with the?
No, we provide Mount Aid, well, Acker provides Mount Aid.
Yeah.
And then we started, since Johnson went out of business down there,
Right,
we picked up CBU. Up here and Westford, we picked that up this year too,
but
so,
those are. It's the hardwood,
Yeah.
what's going to farmers, is for their boilers?
no, it's just, it's a sawdust and bark,
Oh, for the bed,
and the bedding,
okay,
yeah, that's all that's going to.
Could I ask for a pause for bathroom break?
sure.
Thank you.
But if anything, we downsized.
So you said Mononade, CBU, and is it Westford?
Yeah, Westford's, Westford Elementary.
So does Mononade burn the same kind of chip that Middlebury College does?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
And Westford does too. Yeah, they like the 2-inch. It's a 7/8 chip, basically. 2 inches and down.
That Mononade boiler went in one sometime.
We were the,
2000 and
yeah,
my son graduated in 2008, so it was sometime in that time frame.
yeah, no, we've been the only ones that have provided them with chips and we've never let them run either.
How much does an average chip weigh?
Well, it all depends on the species of wood.
Oak, red oak.
Oh,
It's a single chip?
it's a,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
little
so I'm
wafer,
just-
I mean.
Yeah, I'm just curious, is it like a couple ounces or?
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably
probably,
is,
okay.
yeah, and then it all depends on the dryness.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with anything other than my curiosity.
But they all do burn different, every species does.
And so you were saying, Jason, that it's the rough dimension, I think it was between 2 and 3 inches,
Yeah, 2 inches, yeah,
2 inch diameter.
yeah, it's about a 7/8 of an inch thick. And wafer about 2 inches.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Let's just wait for John.
but we definitely have been chipping way before zoning. There's no question on that.
No problem.
Uh,
Does that, go. Cover, you ready for questions from the board?
Yeah, sure,
Okay.
I mean, that covers pretty much everything, I mean.
Any questions for Mr. Lathrop, Rebecca, or Brenda? Brenda does. Go ahead, Brenda.
So of all of the operations that you carry out, Jason, which ones are extremely noisy? Is the chipping extremely noisy or?
I can't understand her.
Which of the operations that you do are noisy?
Well, it would be the chipper is what's probably the noisiest, because when the wood hits the wheel and it makes noise, when that chip in action, and then everything is steel, so then it blows it. And it blows it into a steel kind of a bin. From there, it gets metered out with augers in the bottom over the screen. So when it hits that, that's probably the noisiest thing that you're gonna hear.
Well, the equipment you've got is a chipper and a loader, right? Is there
Yeah.
something else?
Well, yeah, there's a log loader that feeds the chipper, but that, it's not noise.
That's the claw.
Yeah, right.
Your backup beepers and you were in that.
No,
process?
and that's one thing that Acker did, that they were complaining about the backup beeper, so he did. Put a quieter beeper on the back of his truck, because Middlebury College requires
They
it,
wanted it to.
and we do the lights. So we don't have backup beepers, or we could.
Oh, you mean backup warning lights?
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, that would be a real nuisance, but under OSHA regulations, it's supposed to have beepers.
You gotta
that
have
light.
something like that, right?
Right.
I mean, OSHA makes
So,
them,
yeah.
yeah. But so you've got like a hush beeper over there or whatever in the lights.
Oh, yeah, it's just
Yeah,
the
even
light
better.
instead,
Right.
right.
Question, Brenda's done.
And
Brenda could continue. please.
go ahead, Brenda.
Okay, so from what you said, it sounds like you don't usually chip at night. You do 8 to 6.
Right, we do not chip at night. And not unless there's, a major catastrophe or something, but no, we don't.
Well, so you said chipping, you're running the
The chipper,
yard from between 6 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday and Friday.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, and the chipping normally starts, I mean, between 6:30 and. You know, goes up to 5. Maybe, but it's not the whole day. He normally chips for a couple hours and then he has to bring wood over. And then that stops the chipping process, cause. He's gotta bring wood to himself, cause there's only one guy in the yard doing it. So.
So what is the problem at night?
I guess what the problem, I don't,
Is it just loading the trucks?
I guess
That
it
need to be
is.
loaded at a certain time on occasion?
yeah, that it.
But you're saying on occasion, they're saying it's happening a lot.
I mean, when the college wants a load, they have like, you know, they see their bin gets down and they only have. So many hours to get down there, so you get on a rotation and say you start at 7 o'clock one day. Well, they burn that load, they burn 2 loads a day, so that's 2 tractor trailer loads a day. So if they get on the wrong rotation, they could be loading at midnight. If they run out and they can't make it till morning.
And they don't have like a stockpiling situation.
No,
that
that-
gives them
we're-
some
we're-
slack, some
We're
flop.
the stockpile.
Yeah, you're,
And they should be able to take 3 of these tractor trailer loads, but they can't. Their floor system does not handle it, I guess, they have all kinds of problems. So just do
What do you-
one load.
you mean floor system? I thought you just meant space. Or is there some sort of feeding?
Yeah, but
like a
they
feeding floor, yeah.
feed
Water
it
floor.
into, yeah, into
And
there,
that's where they can't have.
right, the
Okay,
weight,
so it's not just square, it's not just footprint, square foot.
Right.
It's something to do with their mechanism.
right, their
Can't handle the
mechanism,
full-
that's why.
Mhm.
And trust me, Acker does not like that either, cause he would rather, you know. The guy that he's got doing it is 74 years old and he's retired, he's. You know, he doesn't really care, but he's at the age where he's gonna have to, you know, Acker's gonna have to find somebody else, so it's gonna be hard to find somebody. To get up at midnight, to load a trailer and go down there and dump a load so they don't run out and all this other stuff. So things might be changing there anyways, I don't know, but.
Kevin, can I ask Jason a question?
Sure.
Jason, I'm not convinced that there's that much of a problem at night anyway, but just so I know, would it be possible for you to stockpile just a little bit there so that you could, if we said you just don't chip at night ever, would that be a problem? I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
it sounds like it's very rare.
right, yeah, no, we don't chip at night, and that building we have holds about 5 or 6 loads.
Yeah, so I'm thinking if we simply said you're not allowed to chip at night, that really wouldn't be a hindrance for you because you don't really chip at night.
No,
And
we
that-
don't-
That's to me when it would, the noise, if there was an issue, and like I said, I still need to hear that there is one, but that would solve it, would just say no chipping at night, period.
I think we have had testimony that there is a problem from at least these neighbors' perspectives.
Yeah, okay, no, I
That's pretty
get
clear.
that, and they're gonna testify, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm asking, could we solve that problem if it exists by simply saying no chipping at night, period?
But you're not chipping at night anyway now.
Well, he said
The loading that is the problem.
he said it's in the case of an emergency. I'm
Well,
thinking,
That's
Yeah.
the exception.
yeah, but if we would simply say, don't do that, stockpile. In other words, if in an emergency, you use up, maybe it means you need to stockpile 1 or 2 more loads, but whatever. This seems to me that's not an unreasonable thing to say, don't do it at night.
So.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Rebecca, is your hand up or not? No? Okay, John?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's our purview to. It is not our purview to like offer a solution here. We don't have something we can act on, but I would hope that there might be some ways that you guys could work it out so that on as less a frequent, as little as possible, you guys are doing the whatever activity is at night. And I wouldn't venture to guess what that might be because I don't know the business, but something where maybe it could work.
Brenda, did you have another question?
Not at the moment.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mr. Smith?
So first of all, I just wanted to clarify that the chipping does not occur at night. The chipping is, takes place in the day and it's allowed in the day for, a daycare and my mom. So basically, the nighttime activity is not the chipping. The nighttime activity is loading chips, tractor trailer trucks of chips with a front end loader at night between the hours of 10 PM and like usually 2 PM, 2 AM. 10 PM and 2 AM, and this is regular, and my question would be, is if you know it bothers some of the neighbors, and probably many of them, have you inquired about, moving this, nighttime loading of trucks to the day? Because, you know, there's still an inconsistency as to why it can't be done during the day. There was no good explanation so far, so, but have you inquired that? Have you, is it just not feasible?
I told you, the college with their loading, their system down there only holds one load.
Yeah,
at a
but why
time.
do you do, why not do it in the
And
day?
Let him
they
finish.
have to, when they burn that load up, they have some 2 hour, or they have so much time to get down there with another load. So that load
Hey,
is
you
gonna
gotta
get loaded
stop.
at like
Hold on.
10
You
o'clock.
gotta stop
Ashley, you have to let other
gotta
people talk in their
stop
turn,
interrupting.
okay? Yeah, it's not an open conversation.
Okay,
So that load has to get loaded up and taken down, and it is gonna be at night sometimes. Most of the time, it is gonna be at night. They have been trying to keep it around 9 o'clock, but. I mean, I don't control that, and this is why. I knew this, we were okay because we're grandfathered in this, because I know. If I sell that mill or sell that yard down there to somebody else. They will never be able to do what I'm doing there.
we don't mind.
I just know that.
We just.
But-
want certain
and-
Yeah, no, I
And
don't-
I just know that, and that's why we are working with Acker and. We're trying to solve the
So-
college's problem
so-
and keep us going as far as using natural resources around here too. And
So I have a brainstorm idea to Rick. Off the top of my head. Would it be possible? I know you don't control after, but. These are, well, are they tandem loads or are they tractor trailer loads?
Tractor trailer loads, they're 30-ton loads,
Right.
100,000-pound loads.
Yeah, okay, so could 2 trailers be loaded? Waiting. For pickup at, you know, for a tractor to come hook on at night. Take it down to Middlebury College.
That would work good in the summertime, but
Mhm.
the wintertime. They freeze.
The chips freeze.
They
in the
freeze.
bed.
Yes, they do. And that's the trouble we got. Right now, they've started on,
Are these dump bodies?
no, they're the shuffle floor, the
Okay.
light bottom, light floors,
Okay,
and they freeze. I mean, even in that building down there, we chip them and load them into a trailer, you know, they gotta be unloaded within so many hours or they do freeze in.
okay.
And that, because it has moisture when we do the chipping process and they do heat,
Mhm.
the chips do, so. Yeah, no, in the summertime, that would probably work if you had 2 trailers and you could do that, but it's the winter time and then right into. But they've already started not loading their trailers during the day. So they have to load them at night now
Because.
because of the winter.
Yeah,
So,
well, when it's not winter. That would make things better
I-
for the neighbors for
yeah.
at least part of the year. I'm sure they'd appreciate it.
I have been thinking about, you know, the noise problem, and I've been trying to figure out a way to mitigate some of it. And the proposal I'm thinking about doing is, building a berm on the property line. Maybe about 20 feet high. That way you would not see the lights. And a lot of the noise would get deflected and absorbed.
I was thinking on the same idea.
I can do that fairly, that would be easy, we could try that. Cause we get a lot of bark that comes off these logs and it mixes with the dirt, we have to scrape it up and clean our yard. So that, we're always having troubles getting rid of that stuff, you know, Hills takes a lot of it, they use it on their fields and stuff.
Is it
It's an
Was it a
organic-
spontaneous combustion
No,
issue when it
no,
piles up?
No, it's kind
Got
of like
dirt.
compost
Yeah.
and dirt, basically is what it is. So.
Could you do that? I mean, I know you stockpile round logs
Yeah.
a lot and. what
Yeah,
if-
and that's what, you know.
What if you sort of modeled that out as a sort of, some sort of a fence of berm, whatever, that just with, so you could see how it works before you.
Well, no,
build a
I,
berm.
well, see, he was saying, one of his past things that when we had the, roll logs there next to the property line. And it was up about 20 feet, 30 feet high, whatever it is, it did block out a lot.
Did that help?
Yes,
Seems so.
because in the
So
day,
maybe there's something in that direction.
Right, and then, but I can't leave the logs there because we use them and stuff,
Right.
but this dirt I can, and, you know, we would, you know, be on the top of
Yeah,
it.
there will, there may be a variety of techniques that will mitigate,
That'll,
not solve,
right, it'll
but,
mitigate.
but soften,
Yeah,
soften
and you
it.
might find a way to, maybe something less intensive as a berm that does the same thing, you know, could be a
And that's what this stuff
homemade
is.
wall or some, you know,
No,
something.
yeah, but
Some-
this dirt will, you know, it'll absorb a lot of the
Yeah,
sound
and
and
sound is.
it'll vegetate.
Yep,
and
and sound is in many instances not totally, but it's a line of sight thing. You break the
Right.
line of sight, you're taking
Yeah.
care of a lot of the problems sometimes, you know, so.
So that, you know, because we do build a pile of dirt over and out of the way right now, whereas I can put it here and build that, try that, but
and that may be why it's been noisier, especially when I have to work, I had to make animals, you know,
Right.
animals. And I waited decades to, so I had it, but anyway. When the logs were lined up, it definitely cut down.
it did, okay, yeah, I figured it probably did.
Yeah,
But I,
yeah,
but
obviously
it-
it would,
yeah,
you know, and it absorbs what absorbs,
right.
you know.
Well, Mr. Chairman, can I propose that we move on and maybe after some closing statements, I mean, this has been
Yeah,
instructive.
yeah, no, yeah, I'm gonna, we're moving late here, go ahead.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Smith, you have
I
any
just have one
questions or
question.
statements?
Yeah, well, thank you, Jason, and I'm just wondering, so moving to the day is just not feasible, and you've explored that, is what you're saying, like moving, because I'm wondering, like building a wall versus loading the trucks to the day. I mean, even if we build a wall, that's nice and a kind thing to do, but, you know, I'm just wondering, is it easier to just, and if you've explored trying to move it to the day, is that feasible, or you know? Is that
Yeah.
totally not feasible?
Actor has, he has, and it just. Their floor won't take it down there, or else he would, because he doesn't. He's not, he's gonna have a hard time when this employee leaves. Which is coming up, to find somebody to run at night,
I'll do it in the day.
so.
Why can't I'll do it in the day. Why can't I do this in the day? I do run a business, but why can't somebody else run it in the day though?
Because
This-
the
these
boiler
boilers-
needs 2 loads a day and they can only hold 1 at a time.
So you have to do one a day and one at night.
Yeah, yeah, cause they're burning 2 a day, so one is always gonna be probably. Either early.
Yeah, it's a systems problem that should, if it involves like some of these, like Miller College, they're a wealthy organization, something should like something seems like it should be accommodated rather than trying to put up. a
Well,
wall.
that is something you could take up with Middlebury College,
Yeah.
but we
We're not
can't
gonna
do
get
that
far.
here, no, I know, but that is a channel for you.
Yeah,
That we can't do that here.
It
though.
was, well, sounds like they were planning to be able to handle 3
Right,
loads and the
right,
system that got
exactly.
installed just can't do it, probably
Can't
because
do
of weight.
right, yeah, it's a poor design, and they
Well, it
haven't
was-
changed it.
It was new at the,
Right.
at the time, it was cutting edge, but there's things
Right.
that worked and things that didn't, they were gonna grow, as you know.
They did,
Wood
and-
stock all
and
over.
they did, and That didn't work,
No, I know,
cause I had to go and cut it all down and ship it up, sell it in Burlington.
okay, anything else, Mr. Smith?
No, it just
Mrs.
sounds
Smith?
like Middlebury College needs to cut some other budget to accommodate for their.
Oh, that's not us though, so
Yeah,
we're short of time at this point.
We'll just.
all right, so
discuss
I'm
it.
gonna move that we discuss this in deliberative session, there's a lot of bylaw to go through here to. Plus I'm gonna get these other folks in, and we can have a discussion after. And the first. the threshold issue is, do we have jurisdiction to be dealing with this at all? We'll be discussing that, and if the answer is no, then no, there'll be a written decision, or if the answer is yes, then then we can see if we can craft something. So, I'll move that we consider this in deliberative session at the end of the rest of the proceedings tonight.
Second,
Any other discussion on going into executive deliberative session for this? I said executive, I meant deliberative, sorry.
Is it
Okay,
not something that we could consider on the public record?
I think there's a lot I think people are gonna have a lot of questions. I assume this is the first time we've had a
It's,
grandfather.
yes, but I don't think
have a
they're
set-
personal questions.
I think we can deliberate, but we don't have to be out of the public. We can deliberate. Nobody else can participate except us.
Right.
We can still do it with the public in attendance if they want. It's up to the chairman.
Well, I said my piece. If I think there's an opportunity here or a need to have a bit of a discussion about how the law of grandfathering works, and it may end up with a more extended discussion. We've got 2 more to go here, so if you want to do deliberative session after these other folks take it out of order, that'd be okay, but I'm concerned about.
No, I agree with that. The only thing I'm saying is when we deliberate, although the public can't participate, we can do that in front of them so they can see what we're talking about. But I agree, let's save it till a little later in the evening.
All right, so I'll change my motion to table this until discussion for deliberative session until after the other applications are done.
Second,
All right,
That's for a deliberative session in public.
we'll see.
We haven't made up our mind.
Yeah, we'll see, but we can take that up then. All right, all those in favor of tabling to deliver discussion to these other 2 applications are done?
I,
All right, okay, 5-0, thank you, Jason, thank you, Smiths. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say that I personally did tree business working with chippers and all kinds of stuff for 25 years. And I did it with my dad previously, that when we have a family business, we know about, we're used to this kind of stuff. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
We've been doing the business, they're still doing it.
thank you. All right, we're moving on. The next is permit number 22-403. Thomas North Street LLC, parcel 205-112-21, requesting preliminary plat review, 6-unit PUD, subject to Article 9, Section 931. Jason's here.
All right,
Sorry to hold you up.
well, hopefully everybody's warmed up.
So, oh yeah, I'm just, you folks, everybody, you solemnly swear, thank you, that the evidence you shall give before this development review board should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I do.
Yes.
Thank you. So, by way of history, we've had a previous design for this as a sketch plan.
Correct.
Did we have a preliminary hearing on it, or was it just sketch plan?
No, just sketch.
Okay, so now we've got a very different sketch. It was different number of lots.
It was laid out a little differently before. We
It was
had
different.
a different number of units, we
Yeah,
scaled back.
yeah, okay, so this is a major, but it's, but the design is different from what we saw before.
Correct.
So walk us through, please.
Sure, the previous sketch plan, I'm going off memory, parcel size is the same, 9.08 acres.
Right.
Situated north of Pine Street and west of North Street. Previously, we did have 3 units here, and we did have 3 units coming in off of North Street, so we did scale that back. As proposed, we went back to the drawing board. We had a few iterations with getting through the water department and actually hooking on how they wanted us to hook on. That was some of the biggest challenges with the project to date. But we did land on, or Adam and Amber landed on 2 duplex units on the easterly side. The property is divided by a nice little natural sort of dry swale. It does flow during heavy rain events, but for the most part, it is dry. There is a wooded area in between. You can see the tree lines in where the swale is. That's mostly wooded. There is a little opening. And then off of Pine Street, off of Pine Street, we'll be bringing in 2 3-bedroom, single-family homes. There's a meadow there. We'd be able to, cluster those 2 houses, one of them which Adam and Amber want to build and reside in one of them, and have the option to build the second one. So, like I said before, we did
But a
get,
total of 2.
but a total of 2. Yep.
Just a
And
quick question before you go forward. We did this subdivision, I think, like,
Sketch plan.
no, but is this one piece and?
yeah, so, and that's what I wanted to clarify too. It's actually not a subdivision.
Gotcha.
We're not actually subdividing. We're not,
Well, that was one of my questions.
yeah, it's staying all as one parcel. That's the best way that Adam and Amber feel they can market, and they'll be the ones that'll be renting and managing the housing units for the 2
So you're not even gonna put footprint subdivision?
maybe down the road, but.
No, for the buildings, you're gonna put all these buildings on one lot?
Yes, that's conditional use and preliminary plat.
And so, just looking down the road, sometime there might be a time where they could be sold and you
Yep.
could do a subdivision at that point.
And we have-
In the meantime, you're just gonna manage them as rentals.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have discussed that, and setting that up was the reason why with the two single family homes on the west side in the units, so we opted, or Adam and Amber opted not to do the footprint lots, meaning the condo lots, and then having some shared or common land.
Yeah, we're going the other way on this down on Cedar Road, right? We got one of these Clarks.
Oh, I
Yeah.
haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, they're already in.
That
the
was coming
sketch-
in next month.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that
That's-
one, yes.
That's like this thing to go into subdivision.
Right, the other way.
Yeah.
PUD subdivision.
One lot for now, then
There's no need to subdivide it if you're gonna hold it. Right.
there's no point, if they're not gonna buy them, if they're gonna do it.
And as long as you don't box yourself out of that.
Truly rentals. So as part of this, currently, we do have approval to hook up to the water system, or the project does have approval to hook up to the water system. That has been designed.
Yeah, so tell us how that's, you're gonna have to run a main off North Street,
We're gonna run 2 mains, actually.
one off North and one off.
One off North and one off Pine.
Yeah.
There'll be a blow off at the end. There'll be a meter pit out by each one of these. There'll be a meter pit on North Street. It'll run a 2-inch service or 2-inch shared main
From the
out to
meter
the.
pit on North Street, you run it that 2 inch that far?
Mhm.
On the.
That
Water pumps are okay?
Everything works out great.
Okay.
Yep.
I've been working on water ordinance a lot with the town, so.
Yeah.
Little-
No, we've done all the calculations and one thing
Yeah,
Bristol
let's
does have, plenty of water.
What material do you use for that?
So we're either
On what?
gonna, it's proposed as either CPS, a plastic pipe, or a DR11, which is a fuse joint pipe, which that's probably the preference. It's a little bit cheaper. And you get where the joints are fused and you don't have, there's no sticking everything together with PVC and glue, so it does work a little better. So there's 2 options.
So is it gonna be a town lot? Is it just a town line to North Street and then
It's gonna be privately owned, it's gonna be a town maintained to the meter. And then after the meter, it's gonna be owned by the homeowners association,
where's the meter though? On North Street?
right on North Street.
So,
Meter always has to be in the right of way.
well, I know, but sometimes we're we're getting an easement on the right of way, in the right of way for the meter and then.
We went through many iterations.
I know,
of this.
so-
We tried to put the meter internal to the property and that was shot down.
So on Pine Street, where you're going up to the curb stops,
Meters out by the Pine Street.
all right, so it's gonna remain private from Pine Street up to the curb stops.
Yep.
All right.
So you're responsible if it breaks.
Correct. Yep. It's gonna be put in well and it's gonna be bedded in some nice sand because
I bet.
that's the material that's there and there's not really.
Yeah, it's good
major
material
concern.
there, yeah.
And I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to get through your narrative before, so maybe this is covered, but, so is each of these gonna be a water customer? Or are you doing 1 meter water wise for like the whole thing?
Well, there'll be 1 meter out by the meter, at the meter pit.
Right.
But they could also purchase separate meters if they wanted to meter each unit individually.
So in future, if they were individually owners, you'd have to do that, right?
Right.
Once you try to sell one of the duplexes for a bit.
So all that would mean is with the new water ordinance, they'd have to drive down and be part of access with the homeowners association, go down and read the meters at the home. So we have left some flexibility with future, but right now, if you know, Adam and Amber,
You'll be the customer.
yeah.
It's a
Well, they
master-
can always-
Master meter out.
It's a master meter, but they can always purchase separate
Subdivisions, yeah,
for each
Right.
individual unit
Yeah.
if they want to,
right,
and that can be made,
then you gotta bill it back.
And that'll be at the curbside house.
that'd actually be at the house.
The house.
They'd have a meter right there at the house.
Yep.
Yep, so you could individual meter each one.
So this driveway off North Street, that exists now.
Yes.
Yes, so
But this one,
both,
and the one on Pine Street would be new? Or is
no,
that there too?
that's also there.
Yeah, just goes to the
Yeah.
construction.
Yeah, so they're 12 feet wide
Years?
roughly.
Alright.
We would be extending those to 16 feet wide with
Yeah.
1 foot shoulder, so those would be widened. Access looks good, there's plenty of space, we do have a emergency vehicle turnaround on the east side, and we do have a
Where's that?
drive. Oh, there's a hammerhead
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
right here.
Oh, there it is, I see it.
Right at the end, so we do have a turnaround access, getting back quickly to the water and wastewater.
And that's what they like, right? They
They
don't
don't
necessarily
want
want a
a
circle, they want it.
No, no,
I'll be honest with you, cul-de-sacs are pretty ugly when you're talking about 2 or 3 units. It's nice where you can get back in, we do have a 60-foot radius or 60-foot length, and we do have 30-foot radiuses where you can.
So the
turn
fire
around.
guys like this solution.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've heard that the days of the cul-de-sac have passed as far as the fire department are concerned.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
And building them and making.
Well,
them.
lots.
What would, there would be no Melrose place to cul-de-sac, you know, like cul-de-sac. So, okay,
State water and wastewater permit has been issued. That was issued about a month or so ago.
You're sitting on gravel, it's no issue there.
It's nice sand, it's, you know, it's nice alluvial sand, so we were able to get some systems in. All conventional systems, great spot for a little condensed residential development. Coming in, there's, new homes that were gone out in the front that were also approved, tiny homes. This is gonna be much along the same,
where do you mean, the Fuller?
yeah, the
Yeah,
fuller
yeah,
property.
yeah, okay.
So we're gonna be, you know, the driveway.
Not so
would-
tiny.
Yeah,
Not so tiny.
In the end,
I
Yeah,
was gonna say.
they all got garages after.
They're cottages.
Yeah. The intent was there, right?
The intent could change.
So
So all the replacements are on this on-site too.
everything's there. For the 2 on the east side, we did not need replacements. Those are pressurized and sized at 150%. In accordance with the regs, you don't need replacement
So the
areas.
2 duplexes?
Yep. Yep.
And that's all in the wastewater. plant.
That's all in the wastewater permit. Same thing, we do have a replacement area for one of the single family homes and with the good soil. When you have good deep sands, it's not hard to size up systems at 150% and move away from it. It allows more flexibility in design. We're able to push the houses a little bit closer to the west to try to get them away from some of the properties that are over there. And still maintain a good adequate space in between where those dwelling units are. So that covers water and wastewater. The property does have an Act 250 permit with it. We
It
do,
does?
yep. So we have to make sure we have the Act 250 pretty well teed up. We have sign-offs by historic preservation, wetlands and prime ag, and those were
So
included.
it's pending.
It is,
Okay.
yeah, but we can't submit until we
Sure,
have,
no, I understand. I
your local-
thought you meant there was already one in existence.
there is. That property is, Adam and I, when we went through the project, realized that subdivision his dad did.
Well, it's an older subdivision.
Long time ago, was subject to Act 250, and then it was on this deed. That was the discovery after we sold.
Okay, so you're amending?
Yep.
Okay,
Shouldn't really be an issue,
got it.
have everything pretty much ready to go. Stormwater, also has been pretty well designed. I think if you went to the SW2 drawing, that sort of shows it best.
Right, that's, I have it here.
1, 2, and 3. Can you put it up?
Yep.
There's a few.
That's the one, yeah.
You guys can read upside down or
Well, we read the maps everywhere.
John and Ted. Here, right?
Yeah.
Up here, this time you guys, I'll read upside down this time.
Yeah.
Stormwater.
So, we hired Jeff Oleski, Catamount Engineering, a very well-known, real good stormwater guy. That's who we use. What's gonna be proposed is a gravel wetland in between the two duplex units, basically all the road runoff of the gasket along with the roof runoff. That'll be diverted into the gravel wetland. That receives treatment here. That eventually gets discharged over time. There's a volume of storage in that gravel wetland that'll go out.
It just percolates in.
And basically it treats the water, and when
Yeah.
it gets to a certain overflow point, it does have a discharge where.
Oh, it does, okay,
Yep.
okay.
And then second for the, I'll call it the west side, the two single family homes. The pink of what you see on the drawing is what are what are called disconnects. Where if you provide a certain level of treatment between 5% and 8% slope,
You mean these?
yep,
Okay.
no. That's a boundary for the soil boundary.
Oh,
I guess it's orange.
okay.
The orange. That's actually a disconnection area where water will flow off the driveway, get naturally filtered out by the nice sandy soils that are on the property. So he was able to disconnect all of the westerly area except for one level berm spreader, which is just a berm that basically levels out the water. It goes over and it filters out again before it goes down to the native soil, now through the native soil. And then the gravel wetland on the east side of the property, house stormwater.
Pretty standard.
Pretty standard. Yeah,
Is there,
actually, I do take that back. He didn't do a gravel wetland, he was able to do an infiltration.
yeah,
basin.
he's got an infiltration.
So,
That's here.
yep. That's the basin. There's a forebay before that, which actually collects the water, that's stone line, and it goes out to the infiltration basin. So,
This is neither here nor there for the purposes of this application, but I'm just curious, there's a lot of elbow room around a lot, I mean, you could potentially do more in the future. I
Well,
don't
we
know.
were
I
going
don't
to,
know
but
regs,
the town was gonna make us put a
We're-
6-inch main throughout the whole, right? Isn't
they
it?
wanted an 8-inch water.
Yeah, because earlier you had another set of duplexes maybe, or two more.
We
I don't remember.
we actually had 3 duplex units on the east side, and 3 on the west.
That's right.
But to put that side water line in.
So that was just a stopper, so this is where you're landing, and that's, again, not necessarily ruled out. If you wanted to put that line in the future, you could do some more.
We looked at a bunch of different options. Actually, there's a line that comes in off Francis Place, which is already 8-inch.
Oh,
We tried to tap onto that. That was
No,
one of the iterations we went through. That wasn't in the ordinance, so at the end of the day,
And it's a new line on Pine Street, right?
it is. And
Yeah.
actually, they put the new line in, they left a
Did
they left the D in
did
the
a T in there?
For
So we don't
Adam
have to dig it up again.
Yeah.
So you could, my quick and dirty answer, question is, you could do a little more infill here if you wanted to in the future. It's nothing
They
that
could.
precludes that, but you're.
Yeah, other than upsizing the pipe
So.
and not having to bring it. The biggest thing was
the distance.
they wanted it looped all the way through. And that price tag on an 8-inch pipe like that to get through there is about, what, 350, 400,000?
No.
Yeah,
That little cost.
in today's world, yeah.
Wow.
Well, they needed to,
Honestly,
they
That'll
wanted,
change it.
Well, then you want a continuous loop,
they wanted to continuously, so.
Yeah.
Um,
not a,
so have,
a workaround.
one thing that's catching my eye from, previous applications is the width of the travelway of these roads. And have you talked to the fire chief yet about?
We have not,
Alright, cause I think
He's not.
16 is gonna be a little narrow.
He's gonna want more.
he's gonna want a little more.
You want two, the one.
Two truck passes.
We historically have wanted the roads wide enough so that 2 emergency vehicles can pass.
Okay. So there's a total of
Do you
18
know if
feet.
it's 25 or what, but
That's a wide road.
well, and you got
I mean,
4 houses.
116 is 22 feet wide.
Well, we're gonna say you gotta come in with a letter from Brett, that
Yep.
that he's
We'll talk about it.
okay with this. So I'm
Sure.
just giving you the heads up that, I don't remember how wide the travel way has been, but it's been a consistent requirement
Typically,
from the
the-
board, and we rely on the fire chief for that.
Right, and I'll talk with Brett, that's not an issue. Yeah, we can do it, the only thing that does is it bumps up all the stormwater stuff. And if you can do it where you have,
Well, maybe there's pull-outs or something.
if you can do it where you have a traveled way, where you're 16 or 18 feet wide, but you still have the shoulder. So right now, we have 16 feet wide, a foot of shoulder on either side, so there's 18 feet. That is enough, that's 9 feet, that's enough for a two truck here.
We'll check with you.
Yeah.
We'll check.
You gotta come in with, you wanna come, for the final, you wanna come in with a letter from him that he's okay with these roads.
Yep.
As designed. Cause I know on Joel's, Bouvier's, it was cul-de-sac first and fire chief said, no, it's gotta be hammerheads. Now we don't do cul-de-sacs, so you could, then for whatever, so, you know, the design changed.
Good thing we didn't start with the cul-de-sac.
That's right, well, but the fire, you know, we rely on the fire chief to tell us what the fire department needs.
We'll be
We
more than
go with
happy
it.
to talk with them. That is the proposal.
We do have landscaping.
There is,
Oh, that's right.
there is landscaping on the site plan.
Lighting.
Yeah, where's
Oh, and lighting, yeah,
John?
yeah.
John's questions now. He's a light man.
We arranged it so no lights are gonna be shining in people's houses.
We actually,
We've done this before.
yeah. In
It's
the,
good. It's
in the
good.
packet, everything's in there in terms of, the wall mounts, the goosenecks, everything's down. Basically to light the ingress, egress locations.
What's the land, this scan, what plan shows the landscape?
That's, and that's, you're in the stormwater.
Don't see it exposed. Industrial farming. Yeah, this is. Shouldn't go off, over the property line. No, that's, your light. Getting in the box.
So these are the new trees,
Correct.
Nobody's walking up there.
Yep. And then the lighting has been called out.
yeah, so on S
In
two,
the fixture.
S2, John, is where the lighting is called out, this also shows the landscaping. Alright, so AZ has S2 up. The green is are the new plantings. And
There has been a row of planting along the Nakia D's
Yep.
property line.
We kind of space the houses, so.
There's-
You guys did that? You
Yeah.
guys did
Not
that?
done yet.
But
That's part of it.
you're gonna do, yeah.
Yeah. And they're like Adam said, he did, you've had a couple of discussions with her, I believe, right? And the goal was to keep it, so she was looking between those two structures. But they do fit in nice. There's two sort of peninsulas where they sit on. There is some grading that's gonna have to be done, but that's typical with any project.
what are you talking about? The plant? What's
Trees.
the trees for?
I was talking about the spacing of the spacing.
When you said peninsulas, you
Oh,
lost me.
there's two, you see where the structure is, there's kind of a sand peninsula that goes out, and there's also another one, you can kind of see where the topo is. Where those structures sit.
Oh, I see, like.
Yeah, there's, it's,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
more radial flow. Away from. the-
No, I see what you mean.
I mean, I'm just on the policy level, I really support this kind of housing being developed inside the village, so.
Yeah,
I
especially.
think it looks like a
because
good plan. My only thing would be like, out over the future, you increase the density there, because there's. Lots of good walkable neighborhood right
The
there.
water department.
We'd make a motion to have the town help them with the water.
I'll let you guys think about it.
We've tried 3 times.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
But it is great. I'm glad you're developing housing here.
Is there an opportunity for a question?
Sure.
I'm Karen Watson, I'm one of your neighbors in this lot and built the house on the Bristol Community Cottages, the closest to the road, just beside us, the green one with the red furniture in the front, and people recognize it. A couple questions about the road, talked about the fact that you need to run it past Brett to make sure it's wide enough, but let's assume that he says yes to 16 feet. And you're going from 12 to 16, is that kind of keeping the central line as it is, so you'd be expanding off both edges?
Actually, it's a little bit close. If you look at, and I think Kevin has the right one up at this point, he does. That's North Street, so we'd actually be widening to the north more.
Widening more to the north?
Yeah, there's a hedgerow that goes along the south part of the property that we want to keep and not disturb with the neighbors to the north, to the south. So that would actually, it wouldn't be expanding
Is that
off center line.
this?
That is,
Yeah.
yeah, that's there is a nice buffer hedgerow where if we did scoot that to the south, that would be impacted, so it's more naturally lends itself to widening the road going a little bit to the
Are
north.
you envisioning changing the contour of the existing hill at all?
There will be some regrading, and just sort of blending stuff in as you go.
Does it drop
west.
down? on
It
North
does
Street,
drop
right?
down, and that slope will be lessened a little bit. I don't know what the slope is now, but that'll be regraded. as part
So
of the
you'll be
final.
pulling if the road is at this level, the whole road would come down a little bit.
No, it actually
Dropping off
come
a
in,
portion
it
of-
would actually come off level, and then it would be more of a slow gradient.
So you want a level.
You want a
you want
level
people to
landing.
stop- Well, a level landing where people are gonna
Where they're gonna
emerge
hit
onto
North
North Street.
Right, but I'm talking about the hill to the north side of the road is a fairly significant.
That'll have
No.
to be, yes, that'll have to be filled in some. That'll be, you talking about fill going over towards the north?
Towards the west.
Yeah, it'd actually be
Well,
north.
it's towards the north,
Towards the
yeah, on the hill.
Towards-
Towards my
yeah.
house, yeah.
There would be some filling in that area. Yeah, and that's a right of way that Adam
Yeah, I
and
understand.
his folks had had.
I
And
know.
we'll make sure it's all properly
So-
drained as well.
I mean,
We're not gonna.
from a design perspective, I like 16 feet. If you go and make something that's 20 some odd feet wide, it's a racetrack. You know, it ends up being a drag strip. 16 feet with a foot of shoulders, cars or trucks have to slow down, pass, but it's not a super highway.
It's got a traffic calming thing.
It's a traffic calming thing. I mean, again, you know, even V-Trans has a standard of 24 feet. Their only road is only 20.
I just don't remember what breadth.
It's usually 16 or 18 depending on the number of homes, but
Yeah.
we'll talk about that with them.
Okay. Also trees and stuff, are you planning to retain as much of the existing
Yeah, Robert,
forested or woodsy kind of area?
There will be some clearing that's required for the structures and also where the wastewater
Which is
systems are.
primarily as you've got them marked for the structure,
yeah,
but that area between, for instance, our property and the structures itself.
That's
there's
not
no-
proposed.
That would not be. They're good.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna pop in here. There's been a request from those on Zoom for speakers to for one speaker at a time,
Oh.
so people on Zoom can hear as well.
so I can answer that again. If you look, I think if AZ, if you slide the map, I'll say north, because that's what I know for directions. Yeah, slide it up, go north. Just go north.
I can't go any further.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay,
This is the
It's
road.
Split in two.
yeah, there,
You want down here?
yeah, right in there.
Right here.
Exactly, so you can see where we do have the proposed limits of clearing, so that vegetated buffer. Between where your property line, all that in there where the AZ has the hand, that's
pretty quick.
proposed to stay, it's.
Yeah.
It's thick, it's I mean, it's like sumac.
Yeah.
thick.
Mhm, yeah.
We're not, that won't be disturbed. That
great,
whole
okay.
section, yeah. Yep. We can work with you too.
That'd be helpful, that'd be great. It's lovely to put faces to the
Yeah.
names and the idea.
We'll talk.
Yeah, okay.
We can put
And-
some-
and Many of the rest of your neighbors in that development are actually on the Zoom as well.
Yep.
That's it? Yeah, does that take care of your questions?
That does take care of my.
Any other
questions.
questions from folks on here remotely?
Yeah,
Okay.
we might ask something. Do you want to?
Go ahead.
Just again, back to that idea of the access road and the widening. If you do have to take down a lot of the existing plantings there, could there be a plan to augment that, to plant some things back? Just to again keep some kind of buffering between the car traffic that will be increased on that road now, and the houses that are right there.
Yep, so actually what we did, we actually have surveyed that portion. We did locate a small row of trees that's there. The way we did, the road is laid out, those trees would not have to be removed, and the water line would be on the north side of the trees, and the road would be on the south side of the trees. So we did take that into account, man, but I think Adam.
You said, I'm sorry, can you repeat that again? The water line would be on the north side of the trees?
Correct,
Okay,
yep. The water line would be within the right of way, up the north side of the trees. And the road would be widened, but it wouldn't go beyond.
so the trees would stay and so when we talk about changing the contour of the hill off the side of the road effectively, that would be to situate the water line.
Yeah, the grading,
Get that.
the grading, and not to interrupt, but the grading should be able to work around it.
Around the trees, okay.
And the grading should be back to.
It should be hidden back, and I'm just looking at it here.
Yeah.
It should be there. Yeah, and all be seated in.
Yeah.
So you don't need highway access permits because these are existing roads.
Correct.
Or they already have the permit. Correct. Either predate or have it. Any other questions from folks on Zoom? Brenda, you good? Tom, no? Okay. All right, so we'll get you, well, let us know when you're ready to be warned. For the final.
Yeah. That'll be,
What are you thinking?
we'd like to get everything turned around here as quick as we can.
Yesterday.
We gotta finish up the stormwater and come in with you guys, and that's the last.
Okay.
What are we required to do next for, like, do they come back or is
Yeah.
this, so one more visit?
Yeah, this is just a
So-
major, so they have to be here twice.
So you're back again and
But not a subdivision, so there won't. We won't actually be we won't be presenting a survey plat, because we haven't surveyed the boundaries.
Good point.
It's
Good point.
It's
Yep.
a PUD,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I didn't know if tonight would act
Conditional
as the conditional use.
It'd be a conditional use.
question for the chairman.
Okay, so I mean, that's kind of what I was.
No, it's a good point, because I came in thinking major, minor,
Yeah,
and I made a note to myself when I was going over it, saying, I'm not sure why this is a PUD. And the answer is because it's staying one lot.
I mean, would this serve as conditional use? I mean, it was a warrant hearing.
It depends on how it was warned. How was it warned?
Not as a conditional use.
And it was warned as a public hearing as
For-
required a preliminary plat.
Okay, so it was, so, rightly or wrongly, perhaps wrongly,
One more.
it was structured as a typical subdivision, preliminary and final.
Which.
It isn't.
No, we didn't have, we didn't. Yeah, it was a PUD, but it wasn't labeled as a subdivision when we submitted the
Yeah,
application.
but this is, well,
I think,
we can't, we're stuck with what we warned.
do you have the cover letter?
It's right here.
I think.
Yeah, residential plan unit development.
Yeah.
Plan unit developments go through subdivision.
Yeah, not. Not really terrible.
PUDs. But what I'm concerned about is how was it warned, whether correctly or incorrectly? What did we tell the public today was going to be?
A preliminary plat hearing.
This is what we mailed out to everybody.
Preliminary
Yeah,
plat
that would be
review
really
versus
flat.
PUD application subdivision. Section.
Okay.
No, it's from.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But technically not a subdivision.
Right,
That's
Clear.
yep. Well, we ought to be able to get you scheduled pretty quickly. It was,
I have the 21st of January open. Just avoiding holiday timeframes of the 24th, obviously was the next technically scheduled
I mean,
one.
honestly, there's not really, other than talking with the fire chief, I don't believe there's any other thing we have to, which may involve widening the road, but other than that, I don't think there's a lot of,
Well, that'll be a brief discussion. He'll just tell you what to do.
right?
So we have to have a note from them.
We have that done.
Yeah, you want to let her.
So I assume the lighting, plantings, spacing, everything.
I mean, if we're gonna address lighting, down lighting isn't just because the face is down, it's because you don't see a bulb. You don't wanna see a bulb.
Right.
So even if the bulb points down, that does not make it down lighting. Down lighting refers to something where the light itself is put down or washed up against a wall, so it could be uplighting.
Oh, yeah, so you can still kind of see. the light.
That's okay, but if that were high on the wall, maybe not okay, so. When you're looking and shopping for stuff like this, you can look for dark skies, certified pictures, although you don't have to. Not everything that suits is dark sky. Also, a picture like that works if you put a half mirrored bulb at the bottom, so,
Yeah.
that clearly works in any circumstance, so. You just,
So are those fixtures, because when we do this, obviously, we have to submit the fixtures to Act 250.
I mean,
And that was where we just want to be consistent with.
if you can see a bulb, that doesn't work.
So we need to change the.
Assumes it's.
Those are just-
Yeah, that's a bare bulb right there.
Yeah, and assumes it.
If you wanna see like
Yeah.
state of the art, the
This is
absolute state of the art,
ridiculous,
you don't have to
Yeah.
put it there.
I
If you
think
want
that is
to.
one.
Go look at
It was a
the
perfectly
fire-
the
legitimate
firehouse development, especially, I mean, they did a really high end.
Amber can fix something out.
Best case scenario, like, it's a commercial application, so it doesn't suit the residential application.
No, I know, it's fine.
You can see how they have
Yeah.
those lights on, really attractive. They're of a certain color temperature, they go on and off, they don't bounce on and then click off, they fade on and they fade off.
No, we're not gonna do anything.
No,
like
you
that.
you don't have to go that far, but there's so many options, and the thing is, it won't cost any more. to do
John
it
has a
right.
lighting company and he would.
Yeah, and here's my car.
Well, he's hoping to have one.
Yeah.
So I have lighting fixtures, road width,
You've got
Fire
your-
chief
you've got-
letter.
You've got your,
And
you've got
obviously
your,
fire
water, you have your water approval.
we have water, wastewater. That's
No,
all.
I meant, water supply.
Yep.
Yeah, so,
Allocation.
yeah, so.
I think you were here
those
for
will all-
those meetings as well.
Those will all be conditions, and if you've already got them, then I don't have to put them in conditions.
Something that is explicit in the regs is that the double-headed floodlight fixtures are prohibited. So those aren't in their plan.
No, no.
No.
Okay,
I'd have made us take those out.
all right, if we're
Yeah.
good.
Mine twice.
Scott?
Mine twice.
No questions, but I just want to say just wanted to add, it's a great application. I'm anxious to vote yes on this one. It's good.
Well, keep that in mind for the 21st.
All right, see you back for it.
Great.
Yeah.
There, nice. There, it's good.
Always helpful.
And then, okay. You know, when this can be on good ground. No, okay.
Yeah.
Or you can only ever turn it on, so you
Well,
need all four buildings simultaneously or.
It was good to actually. do something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we'll change
If you
it.
get any wrinkles, find out.
We're good.
Yeah.
We'll be digging.
No, that'll
Jason,
work.
I'll reach out to you to confirm the date.
I don't,
Yeah.
none of us.
You're already
want-
coming in for the.
No, yeah,
clock,
I just wanted to say, I appreciate it.
Also,
So,
we
yeah,
might as well do both.
the character of the kind of woodsy area and the wildlife that.
Thanks for your patience.
Thank you.
See you,
Be in
Jason.
touch. Alright, last agenda meeting. Agenda item.
Well, John's gone for,
Right,
so I'm gonna wait till he comes back.
my apologies on that.
No, that's, it actually works out fine, because we have a couple of live and learn, right? I mean, our regs assume it's a two-stepper, no matter if it's PUD, it's a subdivision,
Yeah.
it's two steps, and this one wasn't, but it's still helpful to have the two steps.
Yeah.
Just to get these things ironed out.
In my mind too, because the sketch was so long ago.
Well, yeah, no, it
And
really
it
changed, well, but it was only a sketch because it was gonna be a subdivision.
Yeah.
Right, that's why I spun my head around at first, I was like, wait, where's the subdivision line?
Okay, whew, we ready? Hi, Scott.
Hello.
Thank you for your patience.
Absolutely.
All right, so this is permit number 24-063 Lawrence Memorial Library, 40 North Street, parcel 235024. Is seeking a 7-foot waiver for a rear yard setback, subject to section 381. Preliminary information, in the last month or so, I've done some legal work for the library, figuring things out, not on this application, so I'm happy to sort of shepherd the discussion, but I'm gonna recuse on vote.
I can also shepherd discussion
Sure,
if.
that's
um,
fine.
All right. So starting with the application, we have the designs for the plan. Here's the
So do I have to,
Oh.
you to swear Scott in?
Jeez.
I don't know,
That's
I
your
don't know.
job.
I was gonna do it myself, but I
Do you
thought.
solemnly swear that the application made before this development review board shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
I don't have that down pat yet.
Now I know.
So the application we have here, I have. The parcel map showing where the library is. And then this is. The survey map of the library showing the property lines and the proposed location of the gazebo. Pergola. Structure.
Whatever we want to call it, yes.
Yes. Seeking a waiver due to the location of the septic field. Being behind the library and wishing to be closer to the property line to avoid being right on top of said septic field. That's yeah.
So we need what are we in, village, was it
HDR.
HDR, right? So,
Necessary setback is 10 feet, side and rear yard. They would meet the southerly, setback.
The side yard,
Yeah. The side yard setback, and they would be requesting
so it's a waiver on the
rear,
rear.
yeah,
Which is 10 feet.
yes, both are 10 feet.
Both.
For an accessory structure.
Correct, 10.
And the square footage of this thing is approximately 100 square feet or something like that.
120.
120, so it's not that big.
No.
And it exists now?
No,
No.
right now, it's a blank lot. And we're looking at expanding, so we have an outdoor space for our programming, because the library is only so big and we've got so many more programs that we're trying to deliver, so we've got an outdoor space. Let's figure out something we can do to it to actually utilize it.
Can I continue?
Sure.
Well, thank you. Sorry, I'm torn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Is there a way to have a structure that's safe? But not founded, like, could you not develop a foundation based structure that would serve your purposes?
So
That could sit on top of your septic field?
from what I've understood, what people have told me, what I've researched, nothing can sit on top of this thing and then a short area around it, no foundation or anything. So what we've come up with is this area that we're looking at, the soil would be removed from the top and we would put in a substrate, probably a pea gravel or maybe a rubber material. You haven't decided exactly what that will be. It's something that's permeable. It'll allow the drain field to, any vapors can come out of it. It would be as if it were ground, but it wouldn't be. So that would clean up this area, and then this structure here, it would just be, we've talked about the use of 4 sonotubes. So if for some reason there was a failure in the drain field and we needed to get, big things in there, this structure can be removed relatively easily. Just unbolt it and the thing can be removed because it's not that big.
So that's kind of
And why can't you put it on top of leach field?
That's what everyone has told me.
What's- well, I don't know if that's really true. I mean, if you put a foundation, you can't dig a
Right.
foundation down into it, but if you had, I had a situation, this is just my unique circumstances over at the mill where. Because of a variety of reasons, I couldn't, I had a shed, a tool shed, but it just sat there. It doesn't, it's 4 posts and no floor, so it's just a tool shed. And the town allowed me to put it there, because it doesn't break the ground and it can be. Pulled off in half a second, and you need to, I don't know if that kind of structure, it's not a tool shed you're building, so you want human habitation, safety and all that stuff, so I don't know, but. I don't think it's automatic that it can't be on the system unless it is automatic if you're gonna dig a foundation.
Right.
But if you don't have a foundation, there's no reason it can't be on top. I mean,
Okay.
talk to an expert, but I don't.
Yeah, I always thought. But you couldn't have, you had to leave the
Well,
soil, but I don't.
Well,
know,
You know, I can
either.
tell you, in my backyard,
Mhm.
a quarter of my leach field, has my garage on it.
Okay,
And that was, you know, that was.
because that's what they did, or because that.
No,
was what-
that, you know, that,
Yeah,
they said, Clark installed it and said, yeah,
you can percolate under there and.
actually Clark didn't, so that might not be a problem.
So there are alternatives for.
Right, and so I've talked with George Vinces to the south. He's been to our trustees meetings at the library. I've met with him on the property several times. He's originally, we had talked about having the gazebo get closer to that southern boundary. He goes, my neighbor or the renters there, they want to put in a garden. I said, okay, so we'll keep that 10 feet. And I talked to Roger next door and he goes, oh, just you go right up to the line if you want. He's totally cool, but you take down all these trees. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna take down all these trees, but this is where we want to go with it. And honestly, putting the gazebo where it is here, it works out pretty well because this space here, we got a place to put picnic tables. We got a place we could put, if we want to have a little fire pit there for some sort of adult activity, it opens up that area. And we won't have to worry about anything with that drain field, so.
And the fact of the matter is that all over town, there's building after building after building. That doesn't meet, the setback requirement.
It exists.
And there are provisions, I say this mostly for the benefit of the fellow board members, but there are provisions in the downtown design review district, which is not the district you're in, but this is a district where it's a higher level of scrutiny for a project, say like this. There are waivers for, setbacks if it's the character of the neighborhood sort of thing. So if you walk around the neighborhood there and you're contiguous or across the street, neighbors have lots of sheds and stuff up against their property lines that have been there forever, grandfathered in essentially, like, you can make the case that this is the character of the neighborhood and it fits, even if it's not, 10 feet off the line.
You can look at these houses.
Tom
and-
Wells has, Tom?
I was just gonna say, you told me everything I needed to know when you told me the immediate neighbor has no problem with it, because I think it's pretty good, and as long as that neighbor's okay with it, I'm an easy yes vote on this.
Thank you.
Me too, honestly.
We're excited.
I mean, I think it'd be worth looking into structures that you might move around in case you needed to move them around, because there probably are some that might suit.
And there are some we've talked with the select board and there are a couple of folks on there, they want us to work with the Shed People Farms, Livingston's. with their-
Yeah, and I have a gazebo too. You can put these on gravel. But I don't care either way. If you want to put it on a sonic tube, it could still be moved, or if you want to literally put it on a gravel base, that'll work too. But I think it's fine.
Yeah, my understanding of leach fields is I know the town mows the big leach field by the river because they don't want the roots to develop down into.
Right.
So if you have a structure that has a gravel bottom or something like that, that's essentially preventing anything from growing on it, as long as it's not too heavy, crushing the system, or it's reaching down into the system.
Right.
Probably no reason you can't put something on top of it.
And you plan on using this for education with children, right?
Right, yeah.
So.
And adults.
and
it's a place
Public
for-
use.
Have the kids. If they can participate, if they can move the shed around the lot. There we go.
Do they get to drive the big truck?
Don't make the kids move the shed or the gazebo. It's good.
Brenda, do you have something to say?
Yeah, so I'm thinking that that's a bit close to the property line because you're talking about children in there and the children are going to wander. Is there a fence along that
Yeah.
property line? If there
Yes.
is not, there should be one because if you have children under a roof that's only 3 feet away from the property line, it's likely that if there's no fence, that they're going to be wandering around in this guy's backyard.
Hi Brenda, this is Scott. Yes, so we looked across the street and over there they have privacy fences that are made of cedar that are 8 feet tall. We're not going with that. We're looking at the little short ones that are, I think, 3 feet, 36, maybe 40 inches tall. So they're short ones. They'll run along George's property to the south. So the people that are renting there, they can bring their garden right up to that fence line if they want to. And then the opposite side, there's a hurricane fence that's buried in all of this undergrowth. There will be, at the 3-foot line, will be this short cedar, nice stained cedar fence that will isolate both those properties. And it's not super huge. It's just kind of this low profile thing. So the kids are like, oh, that's as far as I can go.
Okay, and that is not there at the moment, but is that part of your proposal?
It is, yes. Yep.
In other words, should it be part of whatever we're deciding that you do build a fence there?
Fences are exempt from regulations unless in the downtown design review overlay
No,
district.
but she's saying as part of the waiver.
Oh, part of the waiver.
As part of the waiver decision being basically a
Ah.
condition.
Because it may, I mean, you
And so
don't,
Brenda makes a good point, and since they've indicated they want to do it, we can make it a part of the condition of the waiver. Yeah, I'm good with that. I think Brenda's making a good suggestion. And 3 foot seems non-invasive, it's certainly gonna keep kids from running over the line, so I think that's great.
Very good.
I just have one other quick question. Is this showing, it shows 4 trenches that are, is it 2 active and 2 replacement? Is that how it is?
I don't know what you're looking at.
This is,
Oh, this is an
is
old,
that really old? Is that
old
what-
site plan. I pulled these surveys out of the vault so I could get property lines.
Yeah, so it's not material really to our deliberation, but I just was curious if the state's making you have a replacement field.
No, so we had, the septic field was inspected by Wrights last spring, so 8 months ago, I think it was pumped and they put a riser on it. So the library sits here, the septic tank sits here, and there's, and this is actually the easement that goes to the south property here, George Vince's place. So this is how the tenants go. They're driving over the septic tank and the riser, and this comes out onto Lawrence Drive here. This drain field actually currently has an island of huge trees that are sitting on top of it. And George's drain field sits over here on the opposite, well over here, and I think his people park on top of that. I can't remember what he has.
The state's all checked. I mean, you haven't had to pull a state septic permit, have you? This is just what exists.
This is what exists.
That is some
and-
questions. Thanks.
Yes.
A motion to move?
I would move to approve the waiver
Number 2.
Second.
You want a fence
with a fence. Yes, thank you.
as proposed?
As proposed. Perfect. Second, is that okay with your
Yeah.
second?
are we also approving the 2 storage sheds? Because one in the far corner there looks like it's very close to the boundary as well.
Good point.
The storage sheds, and from my understanding, were less than 64 square feet. They're the prefabricated,
they're
like,
Tiny things.
they're prefabricated less than 64 square feet, so again, they fall under exemptions in the regulations. It could be part of the waiver of having the approval of these, but since they're less than 64 square feet, they're tiny little sheds.
They don't have to-
They don't need a permit
Yeah.
in the first place.
See, I don't see any need to include those in our deliberation here.
I agree.
I also agree, that's why I did not include it.
Ready for a vote?
Vote to approve waiver as proposed here
Yep, with the fence
with the fence.
I'm for it.
as proposed, yeah.
So.
5 for the ayes.
Yep, me recused.
Very good.
Lovely.
Thank you. Looks
Thank
like
you.
a
Thanks,
good idea.
Scott. Sorry you had to
Those
wait
sheds
so
they have
long.
down there, great. I don't know if you've looked at it, but some of them really nice.
Kinda,
Well, and it's one of those things, you've got funds and then you've got other funds. It's like how much, how much are we gonna put into that part of it? And I'd like to have a Taj Mahal back there, but that's not gonna happen, so.
I've brought my grandchildren to reading programs in the back there behind. and this gazebo will be very nice. It'll be a good addition.
Yeah, it'll be really nice.
Yeah, I saw what they had last year was this old tent and the rain was coming down and I'm like, we can do
Yeah.
that.
We were in the tent.
All right,
Thanks,
Well,
Scott.
thank you. Have a good evening.
I'll be in touch doing historical research for the library, and so the 4 houses behind were tenement houses that Lawrence gave to the town to support the library.
As rentals to
That's
support.
right.
And
Yeah,
it-
that's right.
Then later on, it was subdivided, you can see that they're
Yeah,
whacked up, but that was.
great idea for long-term support.
Yeah, no, so he, built the library and gave it a means at the time of continuing to support it. It was pretty cool.
The Lincoln Library could do that. They have a huge piece of land around Lincoln Library and they could build some rental housing there or something.
I
In
think
the front yard, yeah.
they should,
Huge. I mean, they've got like a couple of acres that are just sitting there.
these were houses that they housed the workers at the coffin factory.
Oh,
But they moved the library from, I can't think of what's called, the hall across the street when the flood came. And I think somebody might have given him that property. Did they buy it or it might have conditions on it in Lincoln?
I don't know. The property was given to the town in 1911. That the library sits on, but it's a very small piece. Okay, so we're done with Lawrence Library, so that concludes the agenda. So we're back to the appeal of the no action letter, appealed by Ash Smith of the no action letter, June 18th, 2024. So this is deliberative session. So the first item is, does the board want to deliberate as an executive session, or do you want to deliberate in open session?
Are there still members of the public there?
Yeah, the Smith, Mr. Ash and his mom and Jason Lathrop are still here, but that's it.
And there's
I would
one
rather-
person on Zoom.
Excuse
I
me.
would rather
There's
deliberate with.
there's people on Zoom.
I'm a sunshine guy, so I think transparency.
And so am I.
I agree.
Okay,
But I'm hoping, Mr. Chairman, you're gonna give us your legal opinion on this one to
Well-
start off with.
well, yeah, that was my plan. So, the first threshold issue is, do any of these zoning regulations apply to potentially control the Lathrop Mill? And zoning doesn't necessarily have to be a comprehensive solution that always applies. In fact, it doesn't, it's limited. So we have to first figure out that question. And if something is pre-existing, meaning outside the jurisdictional reach of this board, then there is nothing further to discuss as far as upholding or not upholding the zoning administrator's decision. What the procedural posture of this case is, there are complaints made. The previous zoning administrator determined that there was no violation of the ordinance, the zoning ordinance, period. So meaning they don't need a permit, they're not in violation of a permit, and they're not lacking any permit that they need. That's written, there's a appeal period, there was a timely appeal by Mr. Smith. And so it comes to this board, and our task is to decide whether or not the zoning administrator was correct.
I know it's only peripherally relevant, but is this use conforming or non-conforming in that zone?
It's a conditional use in the village mixed zone,
Right.
sawmill.
And I realized, and he gave us a good history and it was very helpful. There's been some evolution in exactly how they've conducted their sawmill, but it is a permitted conditional use, and they're not in here for a new permit or expansion of it. Okay.
Right, yeah, so it's as I was saying at the close of the first hearing, we've got section as I see it, the most applicable section is section 352, which is entitled Existing Conditional Uses. And it specifically contemplates a situation like this, whereas it's a use that would be a conditional use in the district, but it predates the ordinance.
Yeah.
And it gives three situations whereby the DRB would exercise authority under its conditional use review power to, you know, impose conditions. So it's kind of a, it's kind of a hybrid. It's a limited circumstances. If it's the law of grandfathering or pre-existing uses, if it's pre-existing and you're and it's outside zoning, it's outside zoning. Doesn't mean there aren't other town regulations or private nuisance suits, things like that, to control ownership the way there always were before.
Kevin, I think Brenda's anxious to talk.
Yeah. Okay, Brenda.
Okay, it seems to me that the discussion or the argument is not over whether the use is proper, it's over noise, and therefore, I've already said this, but I would suggest that section 750 and section 751, the introduction, seem to apply generally throughout the town. So perhaps that is what we need to consider.
I think that's 100% wrong.
And why?
Because zoning, it's not. 751 is in the context of a use that's otherwise controlled by zoning. It's a zoning ordinance. It's not an ordinance of general applicability. If we had, as many towns do, if the town had its own noise ordinance, it would apply regardless of zoning across the board. We don't have it. The converse isn't true. Just because we have a general noise standard in the zoning bylaws does not mean that the the noise bylaw applies even to properties that are not subject to zoning.
Yeah, it's a good point. Is there an appeal right to our zoning officer if on just general zoning or permit issues? I mean, do they?
Sure. If the zoning, yes, if the zoning.
But it has to be on zoning though, really.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So if AZ had issued a notice of violation, there'd be an appeal. And this is kind of the flip side of that. Here, the zoning administrator says no violation. There's also an appeal for that to us. And what most of the time when we're sitting as the board, we're actually making permit decisions because certain types of permits are given to us. The conditional use and PRDs, plan unit developments, that sort of thing. It's pretty rare that we're actually sitting as an appellate body.
Right.
Something, but that's our other role. We just haven't had to do it very much. And so there are two ways it gets here. One's hey, you're in violation. No, I'm not. Or, hey, there's a violation. No, there isn't. Those both come to us as an appellate body.
Rebecca had a question. Rebecca?
Yeah, Rebecca. Hi. Can't hear you.
Sorry, I couldn't find the unmute button.
Yeah, no, you got it.
Just wanted to point out too, in section 751, even if we were going to be looking at that one only applies to primarily residential districts with like the HDR or VR. I don't believe village mixed even falls under that.
No, it doesn't, but the other, even outside those districts, you have, let's see, we've got 1, 2. Yeah, so you get the subsections 1 through 5 if you're in HDR or VR, which this is not. Otherwise, you just have the first paragraph of 751. That's how we've historically viewed it. Right or wrong.
Right. Well, I have to be honest with you and tell you that my general disposition is to be deferential to the zoning officer because I think this is a very tough job. I know this is Chris's call, but AZ has the job now. And barring them making something that's really wrong, you're going to generally, I'm always going to back them up, especially on anything where it's a little close. And I don't even think this is that close. So I don't think we have jurisdiction.
Yeah, I mean, my personal view is I feel for these folks. If it were me,
Yeah,
I'd
I
be,
get
I'd be looking for some relief wherever I could get it. But I also think if we were to take this on, we'd be stepping outside our authority, and I don't think it would hold up.
that said, I heard, and I know I asked the question, John was unhappy with me starting to compromise with him. And I really was just being neighborly. He sounds like he's trying hard. So I think this can get worked out. Put up his berm, let him help. And I think that's not bad for us to have that kind of discussion, but I'm gonna, so I don't mind doing that, but I don't think we have jurisdiction. So I think we just have to say no. We can't.
I kind of look at, I thought it was a really productive discussion.
I did too.
You know, and I think we identified some things where Jason can make things a bit better. And he sounds like he's willing to do it. So I think that's a positive, and the Ash and his mom got to say their piece, and you know,
Yeah.
zoning only
Would at night build the berm.
well, and also in the summertime, have a truck loaded during the daytime, so that if it needs to be at night, all you got to do is hook the truck, the semi up to it. So go ahead.
Just a couple observations, and I appreciate being set right if this doesn't sound right. It seems like, given these unique circumstances, I'm on the sort of, I want to back up the decision here too. But that doesn't make the difficult situation go away.
Yeah, no, of course.
So I just want to see if I understand this. So if we had some sort of noise ordinance and it had something about disturbances in the night, and a business seemed to violate that, a neighbor could come and say, hey, this breaks the noise ordinance, and there'd be
but not to us.
not to us, there would be some pathway that the ordinance would set out.
It would.
Be like a parking ticket. It would be a
Yeah.
regular violation of a regular ordinance.
Or if it's like a dog, same
Yeah.
idea, noise ordinance might
Right.
take in like pet noise,
If it-
dog constantly barking, whatever, there's a process, whatever that would
Right.
be. So that's one way that could be dealt with.
Yep.
If the business came and, decided, yeah, we're doing a whole new thing here and we need to get it permitted because it's a new use, then the neighbors would have an opportunity to come in and weigh in, and we could weigh in as board members and say, oh, let's talk about hours of operation, et cetera. And
Right.
in that context, these issues could be dealt with.
Through
But we don't have that
through
now.
zoning, yeah.
We don't have either of those circumstances. We don't have a noise ordinance. And there isn't a permit on the table
Yeah.
that ties our hands.
You know, if it's an ordinance of general applicability,
Like
That-
an ordinance.
like the dog ordinance.
Yes.
The select board is the adjudicative body and enforces it, and a lot of times it's through tickets, but sometimes it's a stop that, which is not a ticket. But it's the select board.
Sort of injunction type thing.
Yeah, it's an
You can't
order.
do
It's an
this.
order which can get enforced in court, but
It's usually fines.
but in those situations, the select board is the adjudicative body, not the DRB.
Right, but that's where we're at.
Yeah, that's fine.
But you have a neighbor who sounds like he's willing to work with you, so go for it. That's what I think.
Brenda has a question or comment. Brenda?
A comment, so it does sound like, the two neighbors working together. But if something positive does happen, I think it would be nice if we heard about it. If the berm is built, after all this discussion, it'd be nice if we knew about it. Or if the times of loading were able to be adjusted and it helps, we'd like to hear about it, I would think.
I bet AZ would promise that he'll tell us about it. If it's built.
I will give you a weekly news update. If
Thank you.
keep
Thank
on
you,
coming
buddy.
to meetings.
You're on the scene and he'll let us know. But yeah,
Maybe,
I don't think a noise ordinance is a bad
Unique
idea.
versus
We could,
building on
somebody
that side of
could
the
point out to
property.
the select board that they might want to have a general applicability noise ordinance.
Hold on, we got two conversations going. Go ahead, Tom.
Go ahead, Tom.
I just want to say, I don't think a general applicability noise ordinance is a bad idea. I mean, that's something the select board ought to consider. And we could tell them that, or AZ could tell them that.
AZ says they're working on it.
Yeah,
The noise ordinance is on the select board agenda right now. They're trying to figure out,
We gotta do water first.
well, it's on the agenda. I didn't say it was up. I just said it was on there.
Out there.
Yeah.
It's out there.
Yeah.
I will, if I can offer my opinion on ordinance, I very much feel for your pain, and I do. I think you both should work together, neighbors should work together. Something I think is very important is enforceability and the impact it has on the town as a whole. And that's all I would like to say on that.
And a good noise ordinance ought to have a process by which a problem like this perceived by somebody can be dealt with the property owner. Where that might come from, and that process is good. It
Mhm.
means that there is
Yeah.
a way to have it talked about and hopefully a solution or whatever come to. So that's positive.
I've seen good ones and I've seen bad ones. The bad ones
Yes.
say unreasonable noise.
yeah,
It doesn't,
it's gotta have decibels in it.
it doesn't help you, you know, it just leads to, you know.
Decibels at the property line. It's gotta
Yeah.
have it.
An ordinance needs to give clear direction to the regulated party and to the neighbors, so people know what they can do and what they can't do, and if it's mush. It's just kicks the can down the road and you get
I agree.
inconsistent results.
Yeah, unreasonable doesn't work.
No,
So, Jason, if you build a berm, what kind of time frame we talking about here? Just in terms of,
Probably, let's see, we're heading into winter right now, so. I'd probably get started on it, but I probably wouldn't, the springtime,
yeah,
probably by March.
I mean, I don't.
yeah, yes.
And maybe I can get it.
And I'm not trying to put you on the
No,
spot,
I know.
you know, I'm just,
If we get bad weather, but we can't.
Yeah.
Because of the
My guys, I
road
can
channel, there's
start on
something
this
that
early,
they-
it might get done early.
They're on a
Yeah.
surprise. I will double check that.
No.
For the record, our lumber industry in town it's not been easy for a long time. Johnson's gone now. I admire the fact that these guys have found a way to, keep some kind of a business going. So, that's not easy either. And in reality, if it was going like it was meant back in 2000, it would be a lot noisier.
Yeah, well, that's what I tried to get across, is we have the outside and we're, I know it's not ideal, but. We're.
Yeah.
So, we try to work with the neighbors here to see what we can do. Come on.
well, thank you.
Any other comments or questions of the board? See,
Yeah. I
yeah,
do.
go ahead, Brenda.
Sorry. But I was just wondering, so they have passed some new ordinances. And
The town? The town?
if something gets started under one set of ordinances, do we just continue with that set? Or do we switch over to the new ones?
The rule in zoning in Vermont, it's a minority rule. But the rule is when it's the regulations, and this is just a zoning rule.
Yeah,
The regulations in effect at the time of the application continue, they control, even if subsequent changes come in.
oh, okay.
In most states, that's not true, but in Vermont, it is true, and it's probably would be the law with respect to other ordinances as well, but the Supreme Court ruled on that a long time ago in zoning and has always continued it.
Okay, thanks. I just wondered.
Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, any other comments or questions?
I'm just curious on that because I don't know. AZ probably does. Is there a new copy of the Unified Zoning Regulations now? Has it been published with the revisions?
It hasn't been published. It's been voted upon by the voters and approved. Currently, I'm working with the Regional Planning Commission to get the GIS maps sent to the state. And then also just to comb through it with a fine-tooth comb for typos and administrative mistakes. Just to make sure that there's no typos, because I've marked my book up with many
Yeah,
Okay.
there are plenty in the last copy, but
Yeah.
so Kevin, could I ask that we ask AZ when it does come out that he circulate to all of us a copy? I mean, just digital is fine.
They'll do
So that we
yeah.
make sure we have the latest when it comes out.
No-
Yeah, of
no
course.
problem.
I would like a hard copy myself.
I would like a hard copy too.
Oh.
Well, me too. But I'm willing to print it out.
And you're gonna upload it onto the town website.
Yeah, it will be once it's finalized, not that anything will be changing, but finalized of like. It's been checked through for administrative errors and the GIS maps have been sent to the state. That's when the final thing will be posted. The GIS has to go to the state for approval. And
Yeah,
that's getting wrapped up
the
with the
agency.
the regional planning commission right now. I'm meeting with the GIS person tomorrow to do that. So.
Cool.
On the way.
Okay. Anything else on the appeal of the zoning administrator's no action decision? Okay, I'll move that we affirm the decision. for the
Second.
reasons stated therein. Any discussion? All those in favor of affirming the zoning administrator's no action decision? Alright, so 6. We're done.
Good meeting, Mr. Chairman. And
What else
AZ,
next?
we're on for January 21st, did you say?
Yes, January 21st. It's gonna be the Clark subdivision of one lot, well,
That's
technically,
down on Hewitt. the one
Yeah.
down on Hewitt, okay.
technically it's a 2-lot
Division
subdivision,
where they're going the other way with all these buildings.
but it's a
yeah.
one, they're making
You-
one
I
new lot.
missed that meeting.
I did, I think.
No, it's just.
Yes, but January
Lower Zoning
21st,
Center?
I'll be sending out an email
Cluster houses there, they're all in one lot.
as normal.
Just sold. I mean, in the
Well,
last year.
Yeah, well,
But
Clark's.
January
announced
21st.
building it, so. Martin.
Good.
Yes, I did see that.
Right. You're over here, January 21st, 7 PM.
I got it on my calendar right now.
We'll have a meeting. I'll call you guys.
Thank you very much for joining.
Yeah.
I'll be in touch.
Looks like this is gonna have to be a meeting.
Enjoy the holidays.
Confused.
Well,
Yeah, same to everybody.
For them to make their decision.
Thank you.
On what they were doing, and then I was.
All right, thank you.
Oh, wait, do we have to call a meeting to?
All right, thank you.
No,
Thank you.
Meeting's adjourned.
Meeting's adjourned, huzzah. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in, thanks.
Yeah.